you're here on Spark TV. It's so nice to have you.
It is so nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited to chat.
So cool. And I'm so jealous because you've just come back from a holiday. So you're all bright and chill and loving life.
I am. I'm like still a little bit tan from like being by the beach, not to rub it in or anything, but
Please,
I know
rub it in.
I've been trying to like extend the holiday live for a little bit longer. But it was so nice to be away. Equally nice to be back though, and like getting back in the swing of regular programming.
Oh, that's so good. And I love that holiday live. I love that vibe. Like, wouldn't it be nice if we could have holiday live or holiday Danny all year round?
Yeah, and it's definitely, I feel like it would be achievable, but I think I don't have that much money to just have holidays like all throughout the year. But yeah,
that's the goal. That's going to be our next goal. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it was hectic though, having a holiday like pretty much like for the month of November. It sort of turned out to be that way, but it was yeah, it was really good. Like the girls on my team were like obviously kind of in overdrive while I was away, but I was like just loving being away. And now obviously we know it's like such a busy time of year from like now on till like February. So I feel like very refreshed and yeah, back when everybody else is kind of like starting to go into that burnout stage of the year. I'm like pumped, ready.
Oh my God. It's such a good strategy. I mean, you're so right. Like everyone is, I feel like there's two camps right now. It's like some people are just like, stuff it, I'm done, and just kind of winding down. And then other people are like sprinting to the finish line going, how much can I cram in the next 3 weeks?
Oh my God, it is 3 weeks away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good.
That's
it's not good.
So wild. Hey, that means my birthday is 2 weeks away because I'm a week before Christmas.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. I love that. I mean, mind you, this will actually come out in the new year. So we'll be talking about Christmas and everyone will be like, shut up.
Long gone.
Exactly. Oh my God, so good. So why don't we kick things off? Otherwise, I feel like you and I are the type of people who are just going to chat all day. Let's kick things off by telling the Spark community what it is you actually do.
Yes, a good idea. So I own a marketing agency called Vizual. I specialize in end-to-end marketing and everything that kind of holds under that big umbrella. So what that really means is I work with brands from the start of their journey all the way through all of the different hurdles in business, in scaling their business. Through the pandemic, obviously there were a lot of different hurdles that businesses face, but it's about sticking with the business through all of those things that pop up and pivoting and growing and helping them through really all the different marketing touch points. So things like email marketing, website optimization, social media content, of course, paid ads, all of the above, really. Any way that we can help. We do have like a team which I love, and we are all really experienced in lots of different things. So we bring a lot to the table, which is why we're able to offer so many different little sub-services within our end-to-end marketing.
Amazing. So, I mean, owning a marketing agency, running a marketing agency, that's pretty epic. How did you actually get into that?
It feels very epic some days, and then other days it feels very not epic.
Roller coaster. Yeah.
Some days it's in the same day. I started my career in theatre, actually. So it's so not anything to do with.
That's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And it was sort of through my I studied theatre acting, and within that we branched out into like film and TV, script writing, producing. And then there was one little subject which was the bane of my existence for a long time, which was presenting to camera. And it was entirely basically like host presenting or broadcasting. That's what the class sort of lent into. And I I couldn't understand why I was doing an acting course and for some reason on camera as Olivia Wilson, like talking about the weather or whatever. It was really, really challenging for me, because I had worked for, like the 3 years up to that point in the course, perfecting like the character development and all of these things, which is what acting like meant to me. And anyway, long story short, wasn't my favorite subject. I passed it. I did okay. Graduated, and my first job out of uni was in broadcasting. Surprise!
No.
And I was so excited that I was obviously like working in the field, and I thought, oh, that's so something that would happen to me. I would like get a job gratefully, but like in the sort of subfield that I wasn't like the biggest fan of. But anyway, I ended up working with Baseball Queensland, so the state body that looks after all of the baseball. I worked for the Brisbane Bandits, which is the professional Brisbane baseball team, and I did all of their marketing, comms, PR, sideline reporting, everything that kind of went into their marketing funnel. And it was a really, really amazing experience because I was they didn't have much in that way before I started. So I was kind of building, testing, like as I went, and they were so happy like for that to happen because I was really, really eager to do that. So they were like riding that roller coaster of having someone really into it.
Wow.
Yeah, and there were so many things I like probably don't have to say, but I fell in love with that style of presenting. I still do it. Well, I don't do it with that company anymore, but I absolutely love presenting, running workshops, and just yeah, I definitely learned to love the other side of that performance, which is really like just yourself presenting, because I think I worked out quite quickly that even though it's still Liv, it's very much like best day, best version, best hair, outfit, makeup, Liv. That's not really me. That's sort of a character a little bit in itself. So
I love that idea. That's actually such an interesting, like so many business owners hate showing up on camera, right? Like that's such a cool way to frame it. Like, okay, this is business owner Danny. So just don't worry that Danny doesn't like to actually, show up and do a reel.
Absolutely.
But business owner Danny needs to show up today and, do whatever she needs to do to feel good and get into character and talk about whatever. I really love that idea.
Yeah, it's something like even from like way back when I was younger, just in like speech and drama classes, they would always talk about like, all right, put on your acting cap or put on your acting coat or something. And it's such a childish kind of like way to look at it, but it just works. And it works even if you're having a bad day, if you're going through something. Like personally, I remember like the first time I was, and it's funny, I can't even remember what the occasion was, but I remember the first time like in that job where something just wasn't going right for me, personal, family, something. And I just remember, the dread of like driving to the field, having to like set cameras up, review scripts, all of that. And then as soon as the light went on and the little like the producer called action, I thought, oh, it's so ingrained in me now, but it's like, hi, welcome back. Da, 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 da. And I didn't feel like that, but it's
wow.
Yeah, but it's funny that you talk about that for business owners. I'm working on something which I haven't even like told anybody about. Like,
oh my god, are we breaking news right here? Oh my god,
breaking news. It actually is breaking news, but I'm only break the news a little bit because I still gotta finalize everything. But I am putting together something entirely based around that concept for business owners, because I feel like it's such a shame that so many business owners aren't kind of equipped for like the Instagram reels or the or even just they don't feel necessarily confident like standing up on a stage and talking about their business. Like we've got to sort of cut through that. and I've definitely got some experience in that and some good tips. So I'm piecing together something, for the new year, which is really cool. I'm very, very pumped about it.
That's so cool. Well, that's like perfect timing because this is going to come out in the new year. So you never know, it might all be ready and developed. So we
It
will make
might
sure
be. That's
we
cool.
link to all of your things so that if it is out there, or people should just get on your
Yeah,
email list so they get notified as soon as it is
absolutely. But
happening.
I wouldn't be surprised if that marries up quite well, actually. I realized I told you my whole life story without actually answering your question of how
I
I
love it.
started the
No,
business.
that was so good though. I really no, I love that because it's, those little stories that kind of give the
They really
insights.
are why. That is
Hmm.
why, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that job. I loved it, but I wanted to do more. I didn't really know what that meant.
Mm,
And coming from like an acting background, I was very used to having a job and then not having a job, because
mm,
in that acting world, it's very, or in the creative performing world, it's very, it can be sparse sometimes. But I was really familiar with that feeling, so I just ended that job and I waited and I hoped that I'd have, some opportunity, and I did. I worked as a freelancer um, for like 2 years for all sorts of companies, more sporting companies,
mm.
like production teams, or like so many different things. And it was really interesting to just test out all of those different like marketing skills that I had kind of learnt on the job in my previous career, and
Mm.
put that into practice for a range of different like kinds of people, businesses, industries, products, services, like everything. And then I got a bit over the uncertainty. Um,
Mm.
I met my fiance, and like things in my life kind of needed a bit more structure. So
Mhm.
I got a job as a brand manager in a sales and marketing company,
Ah, cool.
and that, to answer your question from like a year ago, that's where I started.
I love it.
That's
Yes.
where the real like marketing kind of like that that like drive in me like turned on for marketing.
Mm.
It was very much, yeah, corporate, like very, very black and white, and um, they were like looking at me to bring in some spunk, bring in some like youth and that sort of thing into their very, very boring marketing strategy, which I
Yep.
did. I was there for a couple of years. It was a very really eye-opening experience, lots of positives, lots of things to learn from. And
Mm.
in that time, I actually met the person that I started Visual with. So Visual's actually was co-founded,
Yep.
and we started the business together to basically continue the really great work that I was doing for that company, just to more of them. And we didn't
Wow.
really know why why that would work, why people would care, how it would work, any of that. But we just did, and it worked so quickly that it was like, oh my God, I have to tell my boss about this, because like it feels like soon enough I'm not going to like, I'm either going to have to choose like this like rando business that we started, or like keeping
Yeah.
in this company. And yeah, really quickly, like in 6 months from launching, I went from full time down to part time. I was
Wow.
planning on staying at part time for like a year, and I'm pretty sure I stayed for like 3 weeks. It was like nothing,
Mm.
and then I quit and went full time into the business. And yeah, within in that first year, obviously, like we experienced all of the first year things, like getting clients, losing clients, wondering if I should have stayed part time a little bit longer, like all of those
Yep.
things. And it sort of ended up that my business partner and I just had like we're in different mindsets about the business, how quickly we wanted it to grow. And I was just like, oh my God, we've had so much growth really with knowing nothing about business, but everything about what we do.
Mm.
So long story short, I ended up buying him out of the business and really revamping it, taking it to really a new level. And then that was all before the official like 1 year mark.
Wow.
And it has just been like full on since then in like the best way possible.
Oh my God, that is such like a full-on first year. How long have you been in business now? What year are we in?
We turned 2 in September. So it's
Oh,
just a little over
cool.
2.
Amazing. So you've kind of had the crazy formative year, and now maybe the more balanced, okay, this is what we stand for. This is the way I'm running the business kind of year.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
I love it. And you mentioned you have a team as well. So talk to me about what that looks like and how it's been like growing, because even that's huge, right? Like year 2 and you've already built a team. Like, tell me about that process.
That process was really daunting. My mentor in business and feels like life at this stage, like my mentor, Jasmine, one of the first, like literally our first meeting together, that's something she mentioned. She was like, you've got to get to the stage where you can delegate work and it not be like the biggest drama. And I was like, no, I won't be doing that. I didn't want to, because I'd sort of come off the back of like the co-founder relationship splitting up, and I felt a little bit burnt from that. And I thought, well, I'm awesome, but I don't know if anybody else is the same level of awesome. And that just freaked me out. And she said to me then, so like, almost 2 years ago, she said, it's all right. You'll look back on this conversation and you'll think, oh God, now I have to go back to Jazz and say, I need some help. And anyway, that happened, like close to the start of this year. And she really helped guide me kind of into that process of, working out if they're subcontractors or if they're employed, and all of that. And it was, it's been difficult actually. Like when I'm such a perfectionist and very, I guess I feel a little bit like I had like a sped up version of having to work out like who Visual is as an entity, because it was like I started it with somebody and then all of a sudden it was me. So I really had to like get clear on all of that. And then I thought, well, I know that inside and out. Like I could talk about it in my sleep, but having to like really ingrain that into somebody else it was really hard. And I'm not going to lie, I went through people because it just wasn't working either on their end or my end. But that was another thing that I learned through that time. It's better to have nobody than to have the wrong people, because that does so much, or it can do so much damage.
Yes.
But now I love everything about my team. Like Jasmine's very much a part of my team. She runs her own incredible business, but she really helps manage the team. I've got like a WordPress genius, Julie, and Emma, who is newly like in the business. She actually came in. She was my oh shit moment when I worked out that November was going to be like one jolly long holiday. She came into the business then and just absolutely saved my life. Like I was feeling very overwhelmed, like I really just needed a holiday, and I didn't want to have to do any work, and she really like made that possible. So she's a legend. And then I have a videographer, photographer. Honestly, like what doesn't this man do? His name's Dan. You know how people say Dan the man?
Yeah, you have a Dan the man. Oh my God.
And you want to know, I've said this before, I think it was just on like an Instagram story. This is the first Dan that I've ever met that actually is the man. Wow. For some reason, guys, anyway, the Dans are never the man. They're like just the worst.
That's awesome. I love that.
He's the best. I've known him for a really long time. He really saves the day a lot. with like fine tuning things, but he's a very successful videographer and photographer. And just, yeah, like everything that you'd want in a friend, but also a person like to help grow your business. And yeah, so that's the team. Like I this year have sort of tried to, well, let's be real, probably in the last 6 months, tried to like step into that working on the business rather than in the business 24/7. Fuck, that's hard.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's a really nice statement to say, isn't it? I feel like it's like a really cool Instagram quote tile to say that you should be working on the business, but practically like, yeah, when like between midnight and 5 a.m.
That's so true, because like I think like I love I don't even say that I have a job. Like I love my business. I love all of my clients and what I do. And like I want to spend like every second of my working day like on their projects because they're just so much fun. I just love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like reshaping my mindset to think that Visual is also a client of Visual. But that's pretty meta.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it.
If my client as in Visual isn't looking good, showing up, hitting all the milestones and like being strategic, then that's sort of it. Like, and that is hard. It's one thing to understand that logically, but then obviously to put it into practice is difficult when your business is growing at a nice pace. So that's kind of where I'm at now, like really trying to do that. And having a couple of projects like this, like speaking to camera kind of little thing that we were talking about, having that and a couple of other things that I'm working on are helping kind of force me to do the on the business, not in the business tasks.
Yeah, it is such an interesting thought. Like, so thinking about your business as a client, I do love that, because you're right. You kind of say, okay, well, if I don't have the capacity to take on one more client, which is then my
So
business,
true.
you know, then what am I doing here? Then I'm kind of capped out. And you're right, like thinking about your business as a client is your sales and marketing strategy, essentially. Like if you're making sure that it's tracking to all the metrics, it's showing up, it looks good, it's doing all of the things, like that'll end up being your sales and marketing funnel.
Yes, exactly right. And it is so much easier said than done, like absolutely. But it's it's like for me, in a literal sense, it's like blocking out time in my calendar like I do for other clients, and it's just blocked out. It's kind of, it used to be the first thing to move. Like if I needed to reshuffle my day or something, it would always be the first thing to move. And I still do it, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm trying to not, I'm trying to make that very much a fixed thing. Like it's really the most, like it's the most important client, because like you said, if you're not leading by example or putting it into practice, then it doesn't say much, in my opinion, about your business. So that's why I'm really like trying to retrain myself to put Visual's sales and marketing strategy in a very fixed place in my week and carry it on.
I know. And it's such a good point that you made. So, you know, like if your house isn't in order, what does that say to prospective clients about you? Because there is that funny saying, like, you know, the website developer's website's never done, or the builder's house is never done, because, you know, everyone's always focusing in on their clients. But it's like, you're kind of saying, it's like saying to people, I'm amazing at social media, and you have a shit social media presence. Like, what?
You've
really got to live up to your own standards and claims, I think.
It's so true. And like living up to your own standards would be so fine if I didn't give a shit about anything, but I have like the highest standards of my, like for myself, just for everything. And it's probably like my best and my worst quality. But yeah, I definitely hit a point, and it was like looking at my Instagram, like, wow, I'm really like, I haven't really had any nothing's happening. Oh, that's why, because I haven't been posting, or I haven't been doing this,
Yep.
or I really haven't refreshed anything. And so quickly I was like, wow, I let this get away from me like quite a bit too
Mm,
far.
mm.
And I'm trying to sell, I'm trying to sell clients on these like ongoing like social media marketing services, when why would they? Because like, what are they going to look at? They're going to, first thing they're going to do is go to mine and see what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's so true, right? And I feel like if we like, I mean, social media is just one example, but it is kind of
Yeah.
that whole idea. It's like if I'm telling my potential client that you can sell using social media, you'd want to be able to sell through your own social media, right?
Totally. Yeah, it's so true. And it's yeah, it's like it's big time. Like that's been like a really big um selling point. I don't know. It's been a big like yeah, selling point in some of like my more recent clients that I've got like at the end of this year. They've
Mm,
said like, oh, we really like how you show up on social media. And it's like the best compliment, just because I have felt like I've struggled so much with that.
yeah.
Um so yeah, that's a really important part of being a business owner, I guess. I'm learning.
Oh my God, not that there's not 1,000 billion things to do. So what
Yeah.
about like biggest learnings from the last 2 years of business? Is there anything that's kind of stood out to you that you were like, wow, I didn't see that coming? Or, something that, perhaps if you could impart
Mm.
wisdom on people and go, okay, if you're starting your own business, maybe flag these things.
Oh my God, so many. Oh, like there was like some really kind of technical or like
Mm,
businessy things, like invest in a really good accountant. I didn't
mm,
do that at the beginning, and um it made year one hard.
mm.
And year one's always difficult. Probably every year has challenges, but it made year one like unnecessarily difficult.
Yes.
I now have a great accountant. I'm really happy with the company and everything. And yeah, that's like I don't know, that's like the boring version. Invest in a great accountant. And because I'm in like the marketing creative kind of industry, I looked for somebody who had experience in that, because
Yeah,
there
that's
are
good
so
advice.
many kind of random
Mm,
like expensive or things, things that are just ultra specific to my
mm.
industry. So, and that's something that I would definitely suggest: invest in a good accountant, and make sure that they align with your industry, but even like
Yeah.
just your personal values. And
Mm.
um they should be taking stress away, not giving you stress. So that's one. And then the other one, which is probably more just like on like a personal level, um is to trust yourself.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that one so much. I mean, the accountant one is
Yeah,
actually super important, and I totally agree with that.
it's like way more important.
It is really important. But that is good because I think it's such great advice because like you can be just guaranteed challenges for the whole of your business. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
times where you do really need to trust yourself.
Yeah, and even little things like spending too much time thinking about like whether or not your social media templates are looking any good, or rewriting copy 50
Mm,
million times to try and
mm,
make sure it sounds like professional enough. And yeah, kind of just like getting to that point where you just trust that's whatever stage you're in. If it
mm.
doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you tried it. And like kind of trusting in yourself that you'll do it better, or you'll give it another go. Because yeah, that was something like that definitely took a while. Like I was trusting other people, which
Yeah.
is fine to do, but I was entirely trusting other people, and it burnt me. And it also didn't serve me at all, because I wasn't learning the things that I should have been learning, like accounting.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like just putting the trust in myself, and doesn't work. That's actually what I said to myself when I quit my last full-time job. I thought, I'm really young. I'm in a position where if this is the worst fucking thing I could have done,
Mm.
I'm gonna be so okay. Like it's not
Yeah,
going to I
totally.
don't have children.
Yeah.
I don't have a mortgage. Like, I don't have all of these things that would just be a devastating, it would
Yes.
impact in a crazy way. I
Yes.
didn't have those responsibilities. So I
Mm.
thought, I'll just give it a go. I'll try very hard. I'll put everything into it. And if it doesn't work, like, it's okay. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And it's worked. So now I'm like, fuck, I better keep it working.
Yeah, that's right. Oh shit,
I'm
now I've
only
really got
getting,
to get
I
this
know,
going.
now I'm just getting more of these, real life responsibilities. I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to be like, this is a real thing now. Like, this is
Yeah.
its own little, like, entity. Gotta keep it going. But yeah, that was like a big, like, just trust the process, or trust yourself, trust the moment,
Mm.
trust that if it won't work, you'll find out fast enough to not, like, have burnt all your savings away.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that so much. Good accountant, trust yourself. Like, seriously, I think, you've kind of hit the nail on the head. There's just, yes, you're year 2, but it's like, that's just ongoing, right? Like, there's always something. There'll be people come and go. You mentioned team challenges in the early days.
Yeah.
That kind of is consistent, right? Like, you'll keep growing, you'll keep scaling, and it will be about, trusting yourself, learning as much as you can, and continuing to make it a success.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fun. It's like enjoying the different, like, milestones, and even, like, the
Yes.
challenges. Yeah, like, even little things now that I know would have really affected, like, my confidence or my, like, enjoyment of running a business don't affect me that way anymore. Like, I kind
Yeah.
of think, well, I'm only experiencing this because I'm my own boss, or I'm only experiencing this
Yes.
because I work from home. Like, hello,
Mm.
those two things are fucking great. Like, they're the best things
Yes.
ever. Be
Yes.
your own boss, work from home. That's pretty good. But sometimes it's like, oh my God, I wish somebody could just, like, tell me what to do. Well, you have to snap out of it and you have to do it, tell yourself what to do, and trust yourself that what you're saying is going to be the right thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's like such brilliant level self-awareness, though, to be able to reflect and kind of go, okay, why am I feeling like this? What is happening? I'm only
Yeah,
experiencing this because of X, but X is actually amazing.
it's a
So therefore,
positive. Yeah.
yeah. Yes. How did you like, obviously that wouldn't have been on day one. How did you get to there? How did you get to, like, asking yourself these kind of questions? Like, how did you develop that level of self-awareness?
Um, that's such a hard question. I think it's I think I'm made up a bit differently. I think I've just got
Amazing.
yeah, honestly, like, I think I'm just a bit different. I think I've got a bit of a different mind to most people. I have really intelligent parents, so I was never around anything kind of but this.
Mm,
That's not helpful for anybody, because I know that's not really, like, actionable advice. But um, I learned, even, like, before starting a business, I learned things at a very young age. I was put into different situations where I was the youngest out of everybody.
mm.
I turned 24 the week before Christmas. That's pretty
Wow.
young. So I'm learning as I go, but it's been it's been a bit of a struggle, because I guess I'll experience, like, a feeling of, being stressed or overwhelmed, and then realize, like, well, you do have an out. You could close up shop and just be
Yeah.
like the other 24-year-olds and get a job, and there's totally nothing wrong with that.
Mm,
Um, but I don't want to do that. Like, I want to do what I'm doing, and it's like, okay, cool. You're feeling shit. Fair enough, feel shit for the day, feel shit for the hour, but you
yeah.
did this to yourself, and you actually love what you've done for yourself and what it's
Yes.
let you have, and how
Yes.
you can support yourself and other people. But um, yeah, I guess just kind of, like, coming back around and going, like, if this is what you want to do, then
Mm,
it's part of it, and, like, dealing with getting good at dealing with those things. But yeah, I'm a bit of an odd kid. I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that, because I think it's just my brain.
No, but I do like how you said that. Like, I think that's maybe just the action of like reminding yourself that you kind of chose this path as a business owner.
Yeah.
And if you would like to choose a different path, you can choose that. You know, you can go get a job, you can do whatever. And I also liked how you said, it's okay if you want to feel shit today or for the next hour, that's fine. But we're not going to close down our business. So if you'd like to just feel shit for a bit, that's fine, but then get on with it. You know, I think that talking yourself around is important.
Yeah, it's so necessary. And like, I work from home, so it's not like, I mean, I can call my team whenever I want. They can call me. We can like hash things out over the phone or catch up for coffee. But mentally, like, you have to do that for yourself, and I have to do that for myself, because otherwise I stop trusting myself and I start second guessing everything, and I feel really down on myself when, like, the day before I was like fist pumping, like, fucking look at me. Like, no, same person, same business, same everything. It's just the perspective. And yeah, it's hard to manage. I guess there's like the mental health side of it that like you have to really keep in check, and just do the things that help yourself. And sometimes for me especially, that is just like, it's a shit day today. Is like, it's not like a complete write-off, but it's just going to be a low day. But that's fine, because then once I have that and I kind of let myself experience that, I don't really need to have one for a little while. Like, I feel like I'm at the top of my game, and that's really good. And how cool that my boss lets me do that.
Oh, yes. How good is she?
So cool. But you know what I mean? Like, wasn't that the worst when you would work for somebody else and you just know, like, I'm just going to like fucking burst into tears at any second now.
Yes.
For whatever reason. And you can't, like, you either weren't allowed to, or you felt like you couldn't kind of do anything about it because you're under somebody else that's just unforgiving, or whatever the deal is, where unless something's going to be really detrimental to like a client experience or to my business or something, pretty much I feel like I've got to a position where I can have that time if I need it, and it's only going to benefit my business and my clients and me and everyone around me, because I won't be such a like idiot. I won't be acting like such a crazy woman because I've given myself the time.
I love that so much. That is the best piece of advice to end on. Liv, you are incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your insights. I know everyone dialing in, listening in, whatever they're doing, we've gotten a lot out of it. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Thank you for having me. That was such a fun chat. And I just, loved speaking to you, and hopefully everyone's got at least a little like nugget of wisdom or something to jot down to look back on.